I finally got to see the intro this time.
Terrible.
And I know I say this every time, but I really miss my lashes. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Anyway,
your
I do.
lashes.
My extensions, my lash extensions. Anyway, that's
Mm,
neither here
mm,
nor there.
mm.
But how are you?
I am doing well.
Good. Good.
Was
Good.
that believable?
No, but okay. If you want it to be, we can.
That's all I got for tonight. It has been a very exhausting week, and tomorrow is Friday.
Yes.
So,
Has it been a stressful week?
very much so. So
Hmm.
I'm hoping you're gonna be able to help the people and me.
I
It
just
has been an
might.
extremely stressful week.
Hmm. I just might have some ways to help with that.
I know you do.
I might. I might. So, what are you drinking today, though? What is your tea? Oh, and there was something special with tea this month, too, wasn't there?
Yes, it is National Afternoon Tea Month. Well, it's afternoon somewhere. It's 8 o'clock here. It's afternoon somewhere. I got some friends that are, still in the past. They're at 6 o'clock and 5 o'clock and 4 o'clock. So they
It's
can,
afternoon enough.
yeah, cool. It's National Afternoon Tea Month. It's also National Brunch Month,
Mm.
but we're talking about tea. So
Yeah,
uh,
right.
this is a nearly 200-year-old tradition that began in the United Kingdom. It was enjoyed by the upper class because the price of tea leaves was sky high.
Mm. Go figure.
And they had more leisure time than the working people, of course. Who has time for tea when you're on shift, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it included biscuits. Fun fact,
Yum.
biscuits are
Look at
actually
you.
cookies. They
Yes.
call biscuits cookies over
In the UK.
on the other country. But it
Across the
included
pond.
right across the pond. It included biscuits, cookies. It morphed into a light snack, tea
Oh.
time, and then it became a meal with
Oh.
rituals and traditions that were carried over from high society.
Well.
It was a meal that filled a gap and infused, no pun intended, itself into daily routines and society rituals. So that is National Afternoon Tea Month. I am
Oh,
drinking today Yogi.
Yogi. And what
It's
is it? I can't see
stress
it.
rest. It
Stress.
is honey lavender stress relief.
Well, that
And
couldn't be more perfect.
I thought it was appropriate for National Tea Month. And
Mm.
I have this beautiful mug that was gifted to me. It says, "Thank you for being awesome." It was gifted
Oh,
to me. Where are we going? Here we going here.
yeah.
And it sits on a
Oh,
crust.
no. Oh, that's incredible.
Sits on a
That's
crown.
incredible.
And
I
these
love it.
biscuits, lemon Oreos,
Of
came with a
course.
little tray. And it
Oh,
says, "You have done so much for me. I don't know where to start. I want I want you to know. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." This was the
oh.
dish. It came with a dish
Oh,
and
that's so sweet.
the mug with the crown and a candle from my beautiful friend Sheila in Ohio, some of our
Okay.
pageant family.
Shout
And
out to Sheila.
so this was a whole ensemble.
I
Uh,
mean, you read that it was high society, so you had
I
to
mean,
be
it
high
comes with the
society.
crown. It
I
sits on
mean,
the crown, so it doesn't get any higher than sitting on the
I,
crown. And
just saying.
this is a whole ritual. With the tea, it has to sit on the mug. There's a crumpet tray, and I mean, it's a moment. Afternoon
It's a
tea
whole
is a
moment.
moment. It could be a
It's a
movie,
whole
but
moment.
it's a moment for sure. You have to take time for
Yeah.
that. So, what are you drinking, darling?
I did not go that elaborate. Okay. Didn't realize it was that
They
kind of
said
tea
upper
party.
class, and I just tapped into that.
Honestly, I'm coming in mid.
I could have pulled
Um,
out a regular mug for this. What you got?
uh, so I, had those teas that you gifted me. And so they were still, I kept them in the bag. And I
Okay.
had my oldest Monica go in there and I'm like, pick one, just go in there, pick one. So she went in blindly and she chose this one, which is
Mm.
spearmint rose.
Ooh, that sounds like it smells amazing.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good. It smells so, so good.
Can you put that tea in
And
the bath water?
you think that would be great? Anyway, that's a whole different show.
Another show.
So we already went over this. But I love how this says this beautiful tea demonstrates the beauty of balance and intention.
See, it's a moment.
It's a moment.
It's a
And
moment.
my mug. Okay, now this mug, I had to buy it because when I saw it, I was like, I feel exposed, but it really describes me to a T, and anyone who knows to a T
No
knows
pun
what I'm
intended.
saying. And anyone who knows me knows this is the fact. But it says, "I'll get over it. I just need to be dramatic first."
All of my friends are dramatic.
I mean, so to
Wonderful.
tea,
Che-
afternoon
Hold
tea
on, I
month.
gotta make sure that
Che-
name is Cheers.
oh wait, cheers. Okay. Mm, perfect. That is so good.
Yeah, I need
If
another
I
sip.
can bathe this and come out tasting this good, wait a minute, again, different show.
Another show. Listen, different show. Different show.
Different strokes for different folks.
We on the road. We on the road tonight.
Oh, hey, we're talking about stress awareness. I
Talk
mean,
about
that's
listen.
one of the good
Come
ways
on,
to
come on. I know it's on the list. I know it's on the
soothe
list.
stress. I'm just saying.
Ooh-wee. Well,
So we
I
have
believe
a fairly heavy month this month.
trigger warning.
Trigger warning. We are going to cover stress awareness. It is stress awareness month and sexual assault awareness month. So trigger warning on that for sure.
Mhm.
But as you know, we always end the show with highlights. So we will bring it all to show you hope and healing at the end of the
Oh,
tunnel.
what was that you say? What are we talking
Hope.
about?
It's on her shirt. Hope,
We're
hope.
talking about what tonight?
It's hope. And there's a little life vest in the O.
That is for suicide prevention. American
See?
Foundation of Suicide Prevention.
There you go.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes. All right. Well, I
So,
believe it's your night to
oh,
kick
I
it.
get, oh, okay.
I believe you get to kick it off
Mm,
tonight.
okay. Well, I want to know who's watching, first of all, and why are you watching the NFL draft and not watching us? I know y'all. I know what
Was
y'all
this
are doing
on
tonight.
tonight?
I know
I
the
had no
NFL
idea.
draft is the next 3 days. I already know this. So we're competing with the NFL. Maybe
They'll
not the
catch
draft.
the replay.
Yeah,
Catch the replay.
catch the
I'm
replay.
not watching the draft, but
I'm not
okay.
watching the draft. We've got more important things to discuss. Anyway,
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't be watching the draft.
NFL and the
And
NBA.
the NBA.
You know, why are they bogarting our night? Didn't they know that we had a podcast on tonight?
I
I
mean,
mean,
somebody
we're more
didn't tell.
important right now.
Somebody didn't.
NFL, NBA, y'all could wait. You could have your moment
We're
tomorrow.
talking about mental health. This is
Anyway,
important. All right.
whatever. All right. So anybody who's watching, I would like to still meet a person who can tell me that they're never stressed out. I have yet to meet some. And if you tell me you're never stressed out,
Kids.
I don't think I can believe you.
It might be a kid that'll tell you.
It might be like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. That I can maybe believe, but I don't know about you. I know, well, I do. You are stressed out. It has been a week for you. It is, as we know, winding down the end of the school year.
Did you say
Um,
wine?
wine
Oh,
again.
okay.
That's another show.
That's another show. All right.
Mentali-Wine. That wouldn't go as well, but grateful hearts. Grateful hearts, and we can have them from anyway.
Grateful.
Grateful
I see
with
what you did.
grapes. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you
Anyway,
did there. Okay.
yeah. So it's
It's
the
the
end
after
of the school year is winding down.
show. Oh my God.
Let me tell you what. I do not have 1 week in May where I don't have something going on at least 3 to 4 days out of the 5 in the school week, let alone the 7 in a full week. Because these kids, all of the stuff happens this time of year. Everything, especially if you're teachers, parents, not teach, just adults. This is a stressful time. This and Christmas, holidays stressful. End of school year stressful. Different kind of stress almost. Um,
I had an eighth
so,
grader in my office today for a meeting, and
mhm.
she's looking at my calendar on the wall, and she says, "Can I add something, girl?"
Like
I
no.
gave her the marker, and she added her ribbon pinning ceremony and graduation and something else and on my calendar in
On
my
your calendar.
office.
And you're like, I hope you're not expecting that I'm gonna
Oh,
be
she's
there.
expecting it.
Oh,
She put the time.
okay.
She
Well,
put the time up, and the time one of them
mm,
was 9 a.m. Now you know, because we might be
you
on the phone on my way to work, so you know 9 a.m. is
yeah.
not the time that I would
Mm-mm,
be at anybody's ceremony. However,
mm-mm.
this this I got to make space for.
Yeah.
She put it on
Yeah.
my calendar.
Well, I've got stuff. So
What
okay,
you got
so
on your calendar? Is that your calendar? It's 5 days.
it may as well be my calendar. Let me tell you what. I've got dance concerts, not a recital, dance concert because it's school. I've got choir concerts, I've got band concerts, I've got meetings, I've got uh dance recitals, I've got appointments. And is any of it just for me?
Mm-mm.
Out of all of that, one.
Of
That's it.
course
Just
not.
one.
What?
Just one.
What?
And it's to get
An
my hair
appointment?
done. Get my hair done. That's it. One appointment is to get my hair done.
Well, lucky
Everything
you.
else has nothing to do with me. So, yes, it is a stressful time. So, I've got a little bit of everything. I got a little sprinkle of little bits of tidbits of here and there. So, I read something that I thought was very interesting.
Mhm.
But first, I need to start here. What is stress? Who knows the answer to that? What is stress?
People.
Well, that's one of them. So stress, it says, let's debunk one myth. Stress is not necessarily a bad thing. No, this is going somewhere. And I was like, okay, it's not a great thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Stress is primarily a physical response.
Mhm.
When stressed, the body thinks it is under attack and switches to a fight or flight mode, releasing a complex mix of hormones and chemicals such as adrenaline, cortisol, and norepinephrine to prepare the body for physical action. So this is a lot. When you're stressed, your body takes a toll, takes its toll. So
Mhm.
you got your fight or flight. Everyone knows what the fight or flight response is, right? Either you're
Yeah.
ready to go or you're ready to
Well, I'm
run.
ready to run.
But did you know that there is a third lesser known response with
Do
stress?
tell.
It is called freeze.
Also,
And
hide.
well, yeah, for some people, becoming stressed sets the stage for dysregulation. The
Mhm.
energy mobilized by the perceived threat gets locked into the nervous system and we freeze. This response sometimes reveals itself when we breathe. Holding our breath and shallow breathing are both forms of freeze. The occasional deep sigh is the nervous system catching up on its oxygen intake. So, that is definitely probably one of my biggest things. I don't know about you, but I didn't know that. I did not know that because I know when I'm in stress mode or I've got a lot going on, I always find myself like taking in these deep breaths because it's like I forget to breathe. And there was one time where Vic is like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm just having like a lot of anxiety right now and I'm forgetting
Mhm.
to breathe, like literally forgetting to breathe." And so now we know that that's actually one of the modes stress can cause. So that's the freeze response. I thought that was very interesting.
It is. What's even more interesting, those same three components make up active shooter training.
Oh,
hide, run, or fight.
Mm. Wow.
Those are your three options when there's an active shooter.
That's well,
And
yeah. Because
this
you're
is
in a
stress.
stressful situation.
You're in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
Hide, run, or fight, or freeze, run, or fight.
Yeah.
Which one is most helpful and
Right.
feasible for you to do at that time?
Yeah. I mean, freezing would not be great. Fighting
Well,
might not be great either, but
freezing is the
freezing,
same as hiding. So
yeah,
if you can,
that's
if
true.
you have to lock
That's
down and
true.
get under something and take cover and
That's
close
true.
doors and windows, that's the option. But
Yeah.
that's not. Yeah. All right,
We don't
that's
like to think about
very
that.
interesting.
I really, yeah. But yeah, so I did find another article that says more adults in the US expect to be more stressed in 2023 than at this time last year. So this was done in like end of December, middle end of December is when this kind of came out, this statistic.
What was the
Um
reason?
but they also say they're more willing to take steps to tackle that stress. So even
Hmm.
though they feel they're going to be more expected to be more stressed in 2023, they're willing to acknowledge it and get the help that they need. So that it's like the take home message is a positive one, which is more Americans are willing to talk about their mental health, knowing
Okay,
that they're going to be stressed. So it said,
that's progress.
let's see.
I still want to know why though. What's happening?
I'm gonna get there. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get
Okay.
there.
All right.
So I'm gonna get there. Um, so let's see. So the American Psychiatric Association's Healthy Minds poll surveyed more than 2,200. That's not really a lot. U.S. adults, December 7th and 8th. The results were compared to those of a similar poll from the group that ran it in December of 2021. Roughly 26 of the respondents reported that they expected to experience more stress in the new year, up from 20% the previous year. And about 37% of adults, nearly 2 out of 5, rated their mental health as fair or poor, up from 31% a year ago. Young adults, low income adults, and parents were most likely to rank their mental health as fair or poor. Now, reasoning, why are we stressed? 5 factors. Work,
It's-
or I'm
I
sorry,
was about
money,
to say we went back to work.
money, work, family, economic outlook, and relationships. Um, so they said basically, this one professor of psychiatry at Vanderbilt said people appear to be experiencing collective fatigue after more than 2 years of the COVID pandemic. The coronavirus, geopolitical uncertainty, and ongoing fears about a recession have made people more stressed. So,
I felt that in my body when you said it.
yeah. See what I mean? So
We
it's
are
it's
exhausted.
it's
We are so
exhausting.
exhausted. You know what? I went in a restaurant Sunday and I had on a mask. And I went to check in and it was like over an hour wait or something. And I walked past like two rows of people. Nobody had a mask on. And I was
Wow.
like instantly like stressed, instantly. Like, why are they looking at me like something wrong with me because I still got a mask on? It's
Right.
like there's too
Yeah.
many people in here. It's something, we're still walking around with masks on, depending
Yeah.
on where
You
we're
know,
going and the crowd size.
yeah.
It was
I
just a reminder of how far we have stepped away from
mhm.
just a year ago. Just a
Yeah.
year ago,
Yeah.
year and a half ago. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people went back to work and immediately got stressed out.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, like that happened on Easter Sunday when I went to church. I wore my mask at church, right? And we sat at the very back row because every pew was filled. Like, and I seriously sat in the back row. I was having an anxiety moment because I'm like, this
Mm.
is too many people. This is like my mind was, I stressed out in church. So I couldn't even focus on what was being said because I was like, there's too many people. I can't handle this. You know what I mean? And it's not
As
like I
we
haven't been to places where there's been a lot of people, but the majority of those places have been outside where it's a little bit more open. It hasn't really been, I mean, granted, I will backtrack. I will say just recently on this past Monday, we celebrated our 19th wedding anniversary and we went to a wrestling match at the Allstate Arena, Rosemont Horizon. Okay, let's be serious. I still call
mm,
it Rosemont Horizon, but Allstate Arena. And there was a lot of people. I was like, I haven't been inside an arena in a hot minute. And I was like, oh, but I'll be honest, I wasn't wearing a mask because, and I'll tell you why, we just had COVID at the end of January
mm,
and we have that protection for like 90 days. So, end of like beginning of May is when it runs out, basically. So, it was just like, it was just, I've been trying to open myself back up to going places a little bit more freely, like, just to see. And in some cases it's fine. In other cases I get really like, but when we were at Allstate, I mean, we were in our seats the majority of the time. The only time I got up was when Maurice actually happened to be there too. And everyone was already inside watching the match. So I went out and around and whatever to go find him. Um, but we came at a time where there wasn't a lot of people passing. We didn't really leave our seats at all. So it was literally just a row four of us. So we didn't have like a whole row of people. It was me, Vic, and then these two people next to us. So I did that intentionally because I didn't want to have a full row of people. Like
and
when we go
it
see,
makes a difference. It
because when we
does.
go to the musicals, when we go see the musicals, I still wear my mask because the thing is, those theaters, there's nowhere to move. Like when
Hmm.
you're just even trying to get to your seat, there's nowhere to move. And it's like,
And there's
oh
not
my God.
always adequate ventilation.
Right.
Even
Right.
even post COVID, there are some
Yeah.
places that I have gone and I got on two masks. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit way in the corner or far away from people or high up
Yeah.
or whatever, or right at the stage. And then there are
Yeah.
some places where because it's outside, because it's well ventilated, it
Right.
makes a difference.
Right.
Ask
It
me how
does.
many times I've been to church since the pandemic.
Once.
One. And I was so paranoid sitting there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
me and mom went. It was a Christmas Eve service, and it's
Mm,
like people on
yeah.
top of you. Uh,
Yeah.
they don't have
Yeah.
masks on. People are trying to worship, so they're singing, their mouths are open,
Yeah.
they're breathing, they're
Yeah.
coughing. It's like,
Yeah.
get away from me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sitting in
Yeah.
some other places where you don't have to talk or say anything or turn to your neighbor or greet three
Hmm.
people or shake some hand, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But if there's interaction and talking or
Right.
singing, it's your mouth is open
It's
too
different.
much.
Right. It's true. It's true. It's just things are just so funny right now. Like it's just so different. Um but so when we're stressed, there's going to be changes in a stressed person, right? They can be emotional, physical, behavioral, or a combination of all of them. So the key is to look out for negative changes of any kind. Okay. Um, and it's not just like, okay, I'm having a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. It's when you're having that bad day consecutive days in a row, 5 days, 6 days, couple
Hmm.
weeks. I think what the target question usually is 2 weeks or more,
Just like
right? Like,
depression,
mhm.
2 weeks or more.
So prolonged stress undoubtedly makes people ill. It is now known to contribute to heart disease,
Mm.
hypertension, and high blood pressure. It affects the immune system, is linked to strokes, IBS, ulcers, diabetes, muscle and joint pain, miscarriage, allergies, alopecia, and even
Allergies.
and even premature tooth loss. I'm telling you, I was like, first of all, let me tell you something. Researching this stress month was stressful
Uh,
because all I kept finding was ways to cope with it and how to recognize it. I'm like, okay, that's great. And I'll talk about that. but I need to know more. Give
Mm.
me some more. So quite honestly, a lot of my information came from a page in the UK. Afternoon tea, UK, it's all coming together. So,
This
but
is
some of
my bougie. Let me pull the crown up.
so some of the
Mm.
cognitive changes that can happen
Wow.
in a person who is stressed: memory loss, poor judgment, inability to concentrate, brain fog, indecision, starting many tasks but achieving little, and self-doubt. Now, indecision. So, okay, I don't want to hear these guys saying you never know where you want to eat. Maybe that's because we're stressed out about the question. Maybe we
Maybe
don't
we're
know
stressed
because
out
you're
about this
stressing us out.
relationship.
We could be, exactly. That is one of the five.
Oh,
Like,
maybe it's
could happen. Some
woo,
of the emotional changes could be depression, moodiness, irritability, fatalistic thinking. I thought that was very interesting how they worded that.
fatalistic.
Fatalistic thinking.
Mm.
Interesting, right? Panic, cynicism, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, and frustration.
Mm.
Man, I feel very exposed. I don't know about you. um, Physical changes: chest pain, rapid heartbeat, aches and pains, frequent colds, skin
Mm.
complaints, indigestion, high blood pressure, and some behavioral: increase in alcohol, cigarettes, caffeine,
Mm.
isolating yourself from others, sleeping too little or too much, demotivated, and loss of sense of humor.
I don't know if I've ever heard that word. Demotivated.
I've heard of
Not
unmotivated,
unmotivated.
but
Right.
demotivated. I
Demotivated.
mean, those, the Brits came up with the English language before it
Listen.
came here. So maybe we're saying it wrong. I don't know. But those are just some of the signs and symptoms of someone who's overly stressed out. Um, I mean, I don't know about you, but like I get overwhelmed really quickly. I do. I don't know what it is. Like, and the thing of it is, and a lot of people need to understand, especially those people who say they don't get stressed. I think you're lying to me, but okay. Your way, you may stress about something that I may think is like, oh, no big deal. And I may stress about something that you may think is, oh, it's no big deal. So what people need to realize is everybody handles stress differently. And
Mhm.
different things are going to stress different people out a different way. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I
something that
know.
might be very
Different.
minuscule to me might be huge to you, and vice
Mm.
versa. You know what I mean? And
I'm a
it's
little
being understanding.
you said you get overwhelmed easily. Is that what you said?
Oh, I do.
I am by the time I'm stressed, it has been a problem
Mm,
for a while because either I'm ignoring it
mm-hmm,
or I just keep going
mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I'm used to this energy, and
Yeah.
I'm always doing something. I was just talking to somebody. She's like, "Are you ever going to stop?" And it's like, I got
Yeah.
stuff to do. I got stuff to do,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
yeah, by the time I get to the point where I recognize that I am stressed out, I have been fed up.
Yeah.
This is there's no more stress at that point. This is it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
stressed. This is it. Like the point to stop me was two days ago,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
that. But by the time I recognize it, I'm already there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
already at my end of the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I said, everyone handles it and processes it differently. I know I know I met Martha for coffee last week. Something we've been planning, trying to for 4 weeks. Like we put a date, we couldn't. We tried, we rescheduled. So that was like our fourth reschedule. And I was
Like our
driving.
dinner.
Yeah, like our dinner. Like if my husband's watching things for having to go to Boston a day early on a day we were supposed to meet for dinner, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And then the snow happened.
Right.
Anyway, so I'm driving and like in the middle of just driving, I just started crying. I just broke down in tears. Like I felt in that moment, I just felt overwhelmed. Like it was literally just me in the car listening to the radio on my way to drive. But my mind was like racing. Like I had 25,000 tabs open and they were all just kind of like talking at the same time. And I just got overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed and I just started crying like, holy, and I was trying as I'm driving, I was like, okay, there's a tree. There's the clouds. Like I was trying to focus my attention on something else as I'm driving. And I broke. I broke and I cried for like a minute and I was like, okay, I need something because, I had nothing particular that was bothering me that day. It was just like my mind just had like all these things going at once. So I get overwhelmed in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much like getting overwhelmed physically or whatever, but like in here. And it's so weird. Like even when I like keep saying I'm going to fold the laundry and then I go and see the
Girl,
basket is
why
like
you
this
say that?
tall.
You just stressed me out.
And I see the basket is this tall and it's like, I'm already overwhelmed and I haven't even started. Like
I have a pile on hangers waiting to go in the closet.
Yeah.
Then
I don't even have anything on hangers. It's still on the basket.
There's laundry over there. It's laundry.
Yeah.
It's all clean.
Let's talk about how laundry stresses you.
Okay, look, we need a video call for laundry.
Yeah.
This is what we need.
Laundry.
Anybody out there? Anybody interested? Yeah. You want to put your laundry up together? You know how they do the get ready with me? Put up laundry.
Yes, there you
put
go.
Up laundry with me. This is what we need. We need to make a switch. Put up laundry with me. It would be me on video putting up laundry.
We need to start that trend.
And dancing to music in between.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you, that's how I get through chores. I just put on Hamilton, and if I've gone through the first act, it's like, dang, I've been at it for at least an hour and a half. If I get through the whole musical, I really mean business, because it's like,
I'm on K-Love all the time, unless I'm, playing Timbo. I got K-Love on, or some random Carrot House worship team playlist. Yeah. That's it. It's 3 things: K-Love, Timbo, Carrot House. That's it.
It's Hamilton or 90s R&B and hip hop. I have no in between. So
that's it.
It just depends. If people are home, I'll put on Hamilton because I can put on my earbuds. If no one's home, I'm blasting it out of my Alexa in the kitchen. 90s hip hop and R&B, like, let's go. Especially when I'm cooking. I like it. In case y'all don't know this about me, I would love to go back to the 90s and just stay there. Like, that was the decade that I felt like made sense to me, even though at the time it didn't, but now it makes more sense to me than now does. Anyway, who wants to know ways to cope with stress? Yay, I got one person. And maybe some people, when they catch the replay, will appreciate these too. So here's some ways to cope. Number 1, adopt a positive mindset, like affirmations. So like my shirt says, see the good in every day.
I know that symbol.
Yes. See the good in every day. This is the nonprofit I'm a brand ambassador for, Stay Another Day, otherwise known as SAD, ironically. But this was one of the shirts that I got, see the good in every day. So that's a positive affirmation. Number 2, don't be a slave to tech. Disconnect.
Take
a social media detox. Because let me tell you, if I did not need to be on social media, for what we do as far as, being in the industry, I would not have social media. I think the extent of it would be Instagram because it's mostly just pictures. I would ditch the book face in a minute. Bye. If I didn't need it, I wouldn't have it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that would agree. 3, eat for well-being. So that would be fruits and veggies, fresh produce.
Not because it tastes good.
Well,
Because
some
I got some home
people,
run in here that's
you
gonna be on
know,
my plate when this show is over.
that'll be for different kind of well-being.
It's for my mental health.
Your mental well-being. Get a good night's sleep.
Oh my goodness.
So I saw a couple of so did you know that kiwi can actually help improve sleep quality?
I heard that.
1 to 2 kiwi at night can help improve sleep quality.
You know, people actually eat the fur.
Ew.
Yeah,
Why?
see, right there. I don't know. Something
Why
else that's really good for sleep quality that I just purchased: tart cherry juice.
That was on my list. That was on my list. You
Tart.
jumped ahead.
Yeah,
Because first I was going to say chamomile tea because it would be remiss of me not to mention a tea, given our show.
My
And
tea is cold. The cold tea is all right.
Yeah. And yes, tart cherry juice because it contains melatonin. My husband says only psychopaths eat the fur.
Listen,
Okay.
well, my
That's
students.
a different show. Oh.
The first time I saw that was my student. She was sitting in the lunchroom eating it like an apple. I was like, "Baby, are you all right? You feeling all right today?" She was eating it like an apple. Now I know you can blend the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't really taste the fur, but
yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna chew it.
Your favorite one, and this needs no explanation. Learn to say
no.
You got it. Learn
It is
to
a
say
lifelong lesson.
no.
I'm still learning how to say no.
Yes.
I say it a lot more often. Sometimes I say it first and then I let you finish the question. Oh, okay. Man.
Yeah.
But
I don't know that word. I try and I fail miserably.
You don't spend enough time with me.
So practice deep breathing. And we're going to practice this. I actually have the steps on how to do this. We're going to practice the deep breathing. Okay. So it's 4-7-8 breathing exercise, and it's said to make you fall asleep in as little as 1 minute. So this exercise is also known as the relaxing breath. So you make a whoosh sound by exhaling completely through your mouth. Shut your mouth and quietly inhale through your nose, counting mentally to 4. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. And then exhale by making a whoosh sound again for a count of 8. And then you repeat that for another 3 times. So you do a total of 4 times.
And you're supposed to be asleep.
And then it'll relax you and help you fall asleep. Get you into a state of calmness.
I remember doing that exercise in a staff meeting, actually.
Did they fall asleep?
No.
Oh, did it relax them?
Yes. We were all very relaxed and ready to go home once it was.
And then I have 2 more things, but this one has subcategories, and it is prioritize your health. And how are you going to do that? Don't try to change everything at once. Sometimes the more we try to do, the less able we are to make any of these changes, and everything suffers. Pick one thing that is your priority and stick to it. And if you're struggling to pick one thing, make a list and pick one thing off of that list. Number 2, change your environment. Depending on the goal you set, this will mean different things. In order to achieve the goal, it is highly likely that you will need to change something in your environment to help you achieve this. For example, if your goal is weight loss, why not go through your cupboards and remove the unhealthy foods? Change your environment.
It's crazy. Why would I do that?
Why would I want to get rid of that home run and pizza? It's going to make me happy.
Just morbid.
just one slice.
Yeah.
Number 3, small changes add up. It doesn't always have to be huge changes that you make. Small things really do add up. It could be as simple as taking the stairs rather than the elevator, parking further away at the supermarket, drinking more water than tea, coffee, or soda. Pop, soda,
Definitely.
whatever, however you want to say that. And again, it all depends on what your goal is. That's if you want to, whatever. And if you lapse, get right back on. So if
Mm-hmm.
you fall off that horse, we're only human. So,
I think that's really important because people, oh, oh, that was a good segue. The tag on my tea today says we can always start again. Excellent. We can always start again. I think that's one thing that
tomorrow is a new day.
we forget because we're so busy kicking ourselves for
Yes.
messing up, slipping up, punishing
Hmm.
ourselves for not being disciplined enough. Girl, eat
Right.
that pizza, and then
Yeah.
tomorrow eat the
Yeah.
kiwi. You know what?
Yeah. And it says you don't need to overcompensate to try to undo the damage that was done.
Okay, well, don't eat the kiwi. Just eat the pizza.
Just have just have one, not four. It's okay.
Oh yeah.
And then the last subcategory under this title, make time for your new habits. Ensuring you follow through and are committed to make long-term change takes time. You are changing behaviors that you have had for years, so it will take time and dedication to stay on track. So just be intentional with everything. And last but not least, stay hydrated. Drink your water, people. Drink the water.
Water
Or
also
the
comes in the form of tea.
or the caffeine-free tea, because if you have caffeine,
It
that
is
is high
caffeine free.
dehydrating.
You
Yeah.
know, just about all my tea is caffeine free.
Yes.
I think I have
Yeah.
three types that are not, and they're used for something very specific.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that's what I have for stress awareness. Hopefully, some of those coping methods. I'm planning. Actually, I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I couldn't because again, I was running people around. But there's a yoga class that
mm,
is at the fitness center down the street, and I want to take it. I think it's like I don't know. I forget if it's like called an immersive yoga. I don't know what it is, but basically, it's a
do
yoga
it.
where it just like kind of
Do it.
recharges you head to toe. So I'm
I'm
excited
really,
to try that and see how that works out. So,
I've been thinking about classes as well.
mhm.
It's been a while since I was, in the gym. And
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like it's somewhere if I could stop on the way home, that's
mhm.
good.
Yeah,
But yeah, it wouldn't be an everyday thing. It might be a couple of days a week, but
hmm.
I would love to
Well,
have that option to be able to go jump in the pool,
it
and do
just
some.
says start slow. You don't have to
Yeah, that's right.
jump in head first, just one thing
Yeah.
at a time.
Whew.
All right. Well, now that we know how to cope with stress,
Oh
now
God.
let's get back into getting stressed out.
Eh, we probably should have
We should have
rethought,
flip flopped, but that's
rethought that.
okay. We're
That's
still
okay.
gonna
We're
end
gonna
on a
end on
we're
a
still
good
gonna end
note.
on a high
I like
note, so
that.
it's all good. It's all good.
Oh my gosh. So we are talking about Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I'm gonna hit you with a lot of stuff, and then
Ooh,
we're
here we
gonna go
go.
right into our National Month of Hope, so you don't get too overwhelmed. Um, every 68 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted.
Mm,
Every 68 seconds. That is something
terrible.
to think about. I'm giving you our media list up front because I'm not talking about this later. Movies that you should watch: West Side Story, according to Chrissy; Higher Learning; The Players Club, if you know anything about that; documentaries about Freaknik have been in recent news and social media
Mhm.
reports. Documentaries about R. Kelly have been all over the TV. You don't even have to have cable. you know, R. Kelly
Mhm.
documentaries are out there. Bill Cosby last year had documentary. It
Mhm.
was a 4-part series about Bill Cosby. There was an 11-part series about the secret lives of Playboy. Why do I know? Because I recorded them and watched them all. Um,
Mhm.
these are some things that you can look up to familiarize yourself with what's going on in the news. Freaknik, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Playboy. Um, Stories that are still coming out, people that are still coming out of the woodworks and filing charges or adding themselves to lawsuits that are already
Mhm.
ongoing. There's your media. That's what we got.
There you go.
I will give you the hotline up front. 800 HOPE. 800-656 HOPE is the sexual assault hotline. And that is sponsored by the RAINN organization, RAINN, which stands for Rape, Abuse, Incest, and the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. The RAINN organization works with that hotline. Whew. So, Sexual Assault Awareness Month is time for advocates, survivors, their loved ones, and the community to come together to talk openly, not
Mhm.
behind closed doors, not secretly in offices, not in
Mhm.
classrooms and medical practices, to talk openly about sexual violence to support survivors, increase knowledge and awareness, and identify strategies and resources to prevent sexual violence. And that's what I'll be ending with: ways to help prevent the risk of being a victim of sexual violence.
Mhm.
Whew. In 1971, the first rape crisis center opened in Oakland, California. 1971. In 1994, the Violence Against Women Act passed, and that required law enforcement to treat domestic violence as a crime rather than a private matter in your home.
1994.
1994. How old were you? I was in high school.
I was 14.
1994. This seems like a big gap in
Yeah.
timeline of advances and progress.
Mhm.
71, 94. Wasn't born, was in high school. An
Right.
interesting gap there.
Wow.
2001, the first Sexual Assault Awareness Month campaign began. 2001. 71, 94, 2001. In 2009, Barack Obama was the first president to officially declare April as National Sexual Assault Awareness Month. 2009. First president.
Wow. That
Very
speaks
interesting.
volumes.
It
That
does
speaks
speak
volumes.
volumes.
And you know what? He's so far been the only one who hasn't had a scandal in the White House.
I was hoping you would point that out.
Oh,
Has there been a has
I got no more tea left, but okay.
had no sexual scandal?
Well, I don't think George W. Bush did either,
Maybe not
but
Reagan.
I don't
Eh,
know.
I don't know. Okay, very
I,
interesting.
I I read that Ronald Reagan was the first president to divorce while in the White House.
Heck, okay, well, that could have been a
You know,
scandal.
we just need to keep Hollywood out of the White House.
Well, I
If
mean,
you've been on TV as
I
an
see. I'm
actor
like,
or
we need
or a
Hollywood.
reality anything,
Uh,
you don't belong in the White House. And I'm just making a general statement. I'm just making a general statement. If you've been, I'm just saying.
reality,
Anyway,
anything. Okay, moving on.
reality anything.
All right, let me give you some facts. Some of these might sound like statistics, but they say facts on my notes. Activism leads to change. It leads to change in laws and harsher sentences for criminals. So when we are speaking out, we are still making a difference. When we are sharing information, we're making a difference. When we are stepping up and supporting survivors and their families, we are making a difference. Number two, there are over 1,100 rape crisis centers in the U.S.
What's the number again?
Over over 1,100. There are over 1,100 rape crisis centers in the U.S. Now,
That's it.
1971 was the first one.
Wow.
So today there are over 1,100.
That's not enough.
Number. It doesn't sound like enough, does it? That's
That does
across
not
the
sound like
country.
enough.
Sounds that's,
Exactly. Across the country, that does not
and
sound
I
like
can
enough.
guarantee you it's not one in every state.
Oh, easily not.
Okay. And if I'm
That's
wrong,
another. That's a different topic.
correct me, but I don't feel like it's one in every state.
Mm.
Number three, rape frequently happens between intimate partners. 51% of female victims were raped by an intimate partner. 40.8% was an acquaintance.
Mm.
This is for female victims. For male victims, 52.4% by an acquaintance, 15.2% by a stranger for
Oh,
male victims.
interesting.
Over 80,000 inmates, over 60,000 children,
Oh.
over 18,000 military.
Mm-mm.
Okay. There are less than 25% are reported to police. I wonder why. Between 2% and 10% are false reports. So some people think that that number is so much higher than that. Between
Yeah.
2% and 8% are false reports. All right, going back to my facts. Number four, men experience rape at 1/10 the rate of women. For women, it will be 21% versus 2.6% of men.
See, and this is why I have my girls in karate. Because look, I got one that's going to be leaving for college soon, and I told her, I said, "You're going to be a black belt by the fall. Use it.
And that's the part. Use it. Needs
Use
to
it.
be able to use it.
Yes, use it.
My number five fact, sexual assault has financial costs too.
Of course it
One
does.
victim of sexual assault will cost $122,461. There was actually a dollar amount. That
Wow.
included medical costs, court costs, loss of work,
Mm-mm.
etc.
Wow.
122,000 for one victim of sexual assault.
That's
One victim
crazy.
that reported it
I
to
reported it.
us, right? So why does this month matter? It sheds light on an important issue. It raises money and resources for the cause. And it also destigmatizes survivors.
Mhm.
What kind of
Yeah.
stigmas do you know of or have heard that are associated with victims and survivors of sexual assault?
Listen, the number one thing that we always hear, oh, you're lying. You're not telling the truth. And it's like, really? And your
That amount
statistic was very small on a false report. It was 2 to 8%,
to the
right?
2 to 10%.
2 to 10%.
Between two, but yeah, between 2 and 10% were false
So
reports.
92, I don't know math, 90 to 92%, 80, I don't know math, 90%. We'll
You
go with
were
90%.
yeah,
90% is true then,
90,
right?
98
90%,
percent
98%. See, I told you I don't do math.
correct.
So, but yet we still want to say, do people, I mean, here's the thing. For everyone who says that, and I don't think they truly understand what it takes to even report a sexual assault, how degrading it is for a woman. to have to get examined. Like, in order to report it, a woman in the hospital has to go through, after having just been raped, has to go through an even more degrading process at the hospital and have pictures taken and examinations done and this, that, and the other thing to report it. So now we know, I mean, you got to understand that's probably why most go unreported, because it's like they already feel some type of way for allowing, in their minds, allowing it to happen. Just remember, you're not allowing anything to happen to you. That's not how it works, but now in order to report it, now they have to go through that trauma, and that's why I think people who don't have experience with it, and I'm talking like I don't, but I know people who have, and it's just, yeah. Don't talk on something you have nothing about, know nothing about. You know what I mean? Like,
You brought to mind another documentary that I saw a few years ago. The name of this one is I Am Evidence. And this was a documentary about sexual assault victims. And the focus, I believe, was in Detroit. I believe it was Detroit. But yeah, but the focus was on the system. What
mhm,
happens when a victim actually reports it? Um,
yep,
yeah, everything that's demeaning about the kit and being swabbed and the
mhm,
questions they ask
mhm,
and what happens to those kits
right,
and how long they
right,
sit on the shelves.
mhm,
And
exactly,
if they sit too long, they can't be used.
right,
And there are facilities and how warehouses that are holding kits from decades ago
mhm,
because there was nobody to
process them,
process it, or because something was missing,
mhm,
or because it was mislabeled, or because
yep,
they did not, it was not handled properly,
right,
or it was tampered with, it wasn't sealed.
mhm,
It was so many reasons why.
yeah,
And had kits been processed in a timely manner, how
mhm,
many other assaults could have been stopped? It just
right,
reminded me of for Color Girls when the rainbow isn't enough.
mhm,
One of the Tyler Perry movies, because there
yeah,
was a sexual assault that took place
mhm,
in that movie. And, this was someone who she saw every day on the way to work. Like he lived right in the neighborhood. All she knew was his
mhm,
first name. Saw him every day, every day, every day. And he finally, got her to agree to dinner. She was gonna cook. So I
mhm,
don't know how that happened, but she ends up, inviting him to cook for dinner. Her family is at home,
mm,
like in another room or downstairs or whatever, but she was not at home alone. Her family was home. And
yep,
she went in the kitchen to do something and, you know, um, they taste the sauce, have a glass of wine or something, and she turns around and he's naked,
mm.
and literally,
Just
it's like,
like, what?
what
Excuse
are you
me?
doing? It's like, this is why I'm
Yeah,
here, and there was a whole assault that took place. Her family is there in the building, whatever.
mm-mm,
And then when she went to report it to the police, they're asking all these questions. Did you lead him on? Did he have any reason, think that's what was happening? You didn't know his
exactly,
name. I saw him every day. I saw him
mm,
every day going to work. You didn't even know his name. Do you have his last name? Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he works? She didn't have any of that information. And it was a lesson. It was some things in there. There were risk factors, but the point was how dehu de
humanizing,
yes,
yeah,
that it
it
was a
is,
very inhumane process
yeah,
for even reporting this
yeah,
information. It's like, do you want to follow up with this? Because even if you go to court, or if they catch them and you go to court, they're gonna have to repeat the story. They're gonna
right.
be asking you questions. You invited a man to your home, you didn't know his last name, you didn't, it's like, oh
Mhm.
my,
It's
but
victim shaming. It's victim shaming and turning it on that's what kills me. It's like, well, what were you wearing something revealing to make him think you want, you know, it's like
Yeah, I
I
snuck
can
that in.
wear whatever the hell
Didn't
I
have that
want.
one. Right.
I can wear what I want. He needs to learn how to keep his shit in his pants.
Mm,
Keep it in
mm.
your pants, boy. I mean, what I'm wearing should not be even considered when that happens. Like that shouldn't even be a question that is asked to the victim.
You know, it's interesting. You know, I do runway. So there are
Yeah.
some things that get worn on the runway that it's like if I wore this to the club or to a party, it would mean something different.
Mhm.
It's like here is fashion. Here is an invitation for
Right.
assault.
Exactly. And it's like the double standard is ridiculous. It's like, well, you're asking for trouble if you wear that. It's like I'm not asking for anything. I'm going out with
I
my
thought it
friends.
looked great, you know, but
I feel great. I feel like $1,000,000. I'm not asking for anything. I just want to go have a good time with my
you
friends.
obviously wanted somebody to look at you because if you have on something that's revealing or remotely
Mhm.
sexy, you're looking for attention,
Right.
right?
Right. Heaven
So if
forbid you're
someone
wearing something because
assaults
it makes
you
you feel
or puts
good.
their hands on you or makes a
Mhm.
pass at you, you should have expected that,
Right.
right? This
Right.
is this is the tone of our
Mhm.
culture.
Yeah. It's very sad.
So 1 in 4 women and 1 in 26 men have experienced completed or attempted rape.
Hmm.
1 in every 4 women and 1 in every 26 men
Wow.
have experienced completed, or attempted rape.
Mm.
1 in 9 men were made to penetrate someone during his lifetime.
Wow. That's scary.
Made to, that is frightening.
I
Frightening. One
wow.
in 3 women and 1 in 9 men experienced sexual harassment in a public place.
Mm.
I feel like that number is low.
That number is
I think it could be 1 in 2. You know,
I think it could be 1 and 1 or 2 and 2,
every
honestly.
woman at some point in their lifetime has experienced it. I would not be surprised if I saw an every woman statistic in regards to public sexual harassment.
Mhm.
Whew.
Wow.
Turning the page here. All right. So, how do we reduce the risk?
Mm.
First of all, it's never your fault.
Yep.
Let's start with that.
Mhm.
There is there are certain situations where there's absolutely nothing that you could have done. If
Mm.
somebody wanted to violate you, that's what they wanted to do. It had nothing to do with what you had on, what you said, how you walked.
Mhm.
There are evil people in this world. So I need people to understand it is never your fault if you were sexually assaulted.
Right.
But how do we reduce the risk is the question. Avoiding hazardous situations. And on this list was traveling alone,
Mm.
um,
Which you just did.
which I do all the time. Traveling alone, avoiding alcohol and drugs was on that list under hazardous situations. If
Mhm.
you are intoxicated or inebriated, it would be very difficult for you to fight or run
Mhm.
in a
Yeah.
stressful situation, right? But the
Mhm.
traveling alone part, oh, that was hard to swallow because
Mhm.
I pretty much always travel alone.
Yeah.
And you know, they have these solo vacation trips now that everybody's jumping on
Yeah.
the bandwagon because hey, you know, we're tired of being in groups with people who say they want to go somewhere and they never go. Just go.
Yeah.
But it is a reality that some
Yeah.
situations are a little more dangerous than others.
Mhm.
Traveling alone, me hopping a flight to Atlanta, you know, no big deal. I'm gonna hop a flight to Costa Rica by myself. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I do that. I
Yeah.
might go over to the UK and have tea and biscuits. Mm, by myself, I don't know. I don't know. Am I meeting
Yeah.
people there? But it's a
Yeah.
reality. The next one was communicating your limits clearly. So
Mm,
telling people firmly and early what your limits are. Removing
mhm.
yourself from an uncomfortable situation. Explain later. If you have to explain it later.
Yeah.
What the misunderstanding was, but early and firmly stood out. Just so you know, this is just dinner.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that we have to be so brash in
Yeah.
certain situations, but that was the first thing I thought about. Be assertive. Passivity can be interpreted as consent or permission.
See, and I hope we do have some gentlemen actually listening to this or watching this because, you know, we know not all men are dirty, right? And so, you have your nice guys out there that are just like, I can't find a woman who just can't, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
who is too assertive or to this. And it's like, because we're protecting ourselves because of what's out there. You know what I mean? It's like we're not trying to be some type of way because we want to be these like independent, headstrong women. I mean, we are, but we're not trying to like reject you. It's just we got to protect ourselves
Or
so
how
that,
about we are?
you know
Because
what I
we
mean?
don't want your advances and we're not
Yeah.
interested or
Well,
we're
that's what I'm saying. We
taken.
are, but to be, it's just, it gets misconstrued, I guess, to some guys, the guys that are not the predators, but it's like, as a woman, we don't know that about you yet. If it's just like, we're just going out on a date and it's like a first date or whatever, I don't know what your, expectation, like, I don't know you like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna be some type of way. And unfortunately, some guys get turned off by that, and it's like, well, I'm sorry. I gotta protect me. And I mean, granted, I've been out of the dating game for 20 years, but so
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if I were to be thrown back into the
yeah,
dating game at any point, it's a different world out there,
it
you
is.
know?
And some of those, new first date uh, rituals include meeting in a public place,
Yeah.
having your own way there, not going back to
Right.
anybody's house, making sure somebody else knows where you are, having a
Hmm.
code. Chrissy,
Yeah.
call me. Having to
Yeah.
call me and tell me you're sick,
Yeah.
so I can
Yeah.
leave right now.
Right. Yeah.
Having your location on your phone, making
Yeah.
sure nobody follows you when you leave. Oh
Yeah.
my God,
And it's just, to me, it's kind of very sad
it is
because
very
back
dis.
in the day, we didn't think to, like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, the guy picked you up from the house, took you to a nice dinner, kiss goodnight, and that was it. But now things have changed so much, and it's like
You can't even have people know where you live.
you can't even do that
You need
anymore.
to meet at the restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just so sad. It's so
It is.
sad that it's changed so much like that. And
Mhm.
man,
Consent is active. That was one note that I made. There is a very, very fun video about consent. If you look it up, it's animated. And I don't know if it's consent tea. Is it consent tea or consent? I have to look this up, but it's a very interesting. Look up animated video about consent, and it's
okay.
very detailed. It's very detailed and it's
Okay.
very informative. If someone, I do believe it has everything to do with tea, and now I got to look it up. But if you give someone tea or you offer someone consent tea and they don't want it, okay, fine. You don't make them drink the tea, and if they don't
Mhm.
want it, that's the end of it. You don't
Mhm.
force them. It is consent tea. You don't force them to drink it. If they fall out and go to sleep, you don't.
Yeah.
Make them drink tea while they're asleep. It was
Right.
so detailed, but that's what it's called, tea. Consent
Okay.
tea. Tea and consent. Oh my gosh. Tea and consent. Make sure you look at the clean version because there are several. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna look it up after the show. I'll make sure Chrissy and Maurice watches this because it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but it's using tea. Tea is the
Hmm.
sex that they're talking about. But it's like I said, it's very detailed.
Yeah.
Anyway, but consent is active. It's not passive. If they don't say yes, it was not a yes.
Right.
If they said maybe, it was not a yes.
That's a yes.
If they went to sleep and didn't say anything, it most certainly
Most
was
certainly is not
not
a yes.
a yes. Okay. If they were intoxicated, not a yes.
Not a
If they were high, not a yes. Not a yes. Okay. If you didn't get a yes and they were conscious and aware,
hmm
it was not a yes. And that was really the point of that. Whew,
hmm
okay. Trust your instincts. If
Absolutely.
it feels like pressure, if it feels like a threat, if you're feeling red flags, if you're getting mixed signals, if you're feeling uncomfortable, trust your instincts. Remove
Hmm.
yourself from the situation. Respond physically. Push, scream, say no, fight, run.
Kicking the nards.
Kicking
Me to the nards.
ours. And I would also like to point out, although most sexual assaults on women involve men, there is sexual assault uh, of women by women. And if you watch the Players Club and
Interesting.
you wonder why, there are two sexual assaults that take place in the Players Club movie, and one of them was a woman on a woman.
Interesting.
Okay. So I don't want the men to feel like we're only talking to them. And also we understand that men are actually also sexually assaulted. We gave those
Yes.
statistics earlier. So if you're
Hmm.
slipping in here later, go back. Go back and
Hmm.
catch the beginning. We gave those statistics as well. So how do we stay safe at home? Okay. How do we stay safe at home? We lock our doors, we lock our windows, we screen delivery and service people. We check IDs and make sure we know who we're
Hmm.
letting in the house or we don't let them in the house. We avoid going to the laundry room and the garage and the fitness center at night alone, if you can. Okay. If you come home to an open door or open window that you didn't leave open, leave immediately, call the police. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, Something that's not on there said laundry room and garage. How about not take the trash out? That bothers me so much
Hmm.
when I want to take my garbage out at night and it's already dark.
Dark. Yeah.
It is the saddest reality when you need to
Hmm.
take out your trash or put something in your car or go get something from the car and it's dark and you are
Hmm.
a woman
Hmm.
and I live in a safe neighborhood. Okay. I live in a nice area, but I got sense enough to know it's dark outside. I have no
Hmm.
business walking around my building to the garbage can.
Right.
And it is so unfortunate that that is a reality.
It is. It
That is
is.
one way to stay safe. That was not on there though.
Mm.
Laundry room, fitness center, garage. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
take my garbage out. Go into
Yeah.
my trunk because I always got something in the
Of
trunk.
course. Of course. Yeah.
Always something because
Yeah.
I can't carry everything at the same time. That right there, that
Yeah.
bothers me every time. Every single time I think about it,
Mm.
bothers me because I'm a woman. I can't go outside. How do we stay safe outside? Being alert, staying in well lit areas,
Mhm.
walking confidently like we got some business. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, Walking while we're facing traffic. I never considered that.
Do you know that that's how my grandmother taught me to
Really,
walk? She's like,
facing
you
traffic.
face traffic.
But what
Hmm.
if it's a one-way street?
She's like, you always walk the opposite, other side of the road. Then she would, when I would have to walk home from school, right? And I lived in the city. I mean, we lived in a pretty good neighborhood, a
Mhm.
lot of one ways. She's like, you go down to the next one way that would make you go against the traffic. Mhm. She's like, "You go down and then go. Like, just always you wanna face traffic.
Wow.
Always go."
I have never seen that
So,
before.
yeah, that's how she taught me. That's how she taught me. She's like, "Anytime you have to walk anywhere, you go against traffic. You never wanna have cars coming from behind you because that's how they could take you."
Mm-mm.
And this is my grandma telling me this when I was a little girl, and she came from the Middle East.
Pitiful. That is sad.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
So, so yeah, that's what she said, and then, yeah, and so then that's interesting when we moved out to the suburbs, and, that's how I would tell my girls, like, "Well, if you're gonna be on your bikes, you're on the sidewalk and you go against the traffic on the sidewalk, and then come to find out that you can't do that, you have to ride with the traffic," and I'm like,
That's why I was like, if it's a one-way street.
"Yeah, no, it." Like, I was like, "No,
Mm,
when if you guys are walking, I want you walking on the opposite side, because we don't have a lot of one ways out here, that's mostly in the city, but, like, you guys, yeah,
mm,
and walk in groups. I always tell them, "Don't ever walk alone." I mean,
mm,
I know, they're gonna the little one's a black belt, the oldest is about to get her black belt. I know that they can kick booty, but I don't want them to have to
yeah.
get into that situation.
Mm, mm, mm.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. So facing traffic, walking, facing traffic, walking close to the curb,
Mhm.
avoiding doorways, bushes, alleys.
Yep.
If
Yep.
you are in trouble, scream, yell for help, or yell fire. If you are being followed, go in a store or knock on a house door.
Do you know I had to do that when I lived in Arizona? Do you know that I was walking home from school. I was going to ASU at the time. I was in college. And we lived in Tempe, in an apartment off campus, and I was walking down one of the big main roads, and I was on the opposite side walking against traffic, and there was this guy, and I could tell he was following me. Like, I got that red flag, when you get that instinct in your stomach. And every time I would look back, he would kind of go to the side, trying to hide. But I had a feeling he was following me. So then what I did was there was a Burger King. I went into that Burger King and I called my friend on the payphone because we didn't have cell phones. I had a payphone. And I told her, I said, "Stay on the phone with me for a little bit. I think this guy is following me." And he stayed. Like, he saw me go
Mm,
into the Burger King and then he hung back and he waited. He hung back and waited for like a good 10 minutes, waiting for me to leave. And then finally he got tired and he left and he moved on. But I was
mm,
like, and this was in broad daylight. It wasn't even nighttime. Yeah.
mm, mm,
It was like afternoon. I'm talking like maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So, and then I bolted. I was like, I'm out of here. As soon as I saw him leave and he was a good distance away, like I couldn't see him anymore, I was gone. I was like, okay,
mm,
we're out.
mm,
And then after that happened, there was a like a self defense store type place down the street. I went in there and I bought the biggest can of mace you could find. I was like,
mm,
I don't care. They're like, it's really big. I don't care how big. Give it to me. I will make it fit on my
mm.
keychain or in my backpack or something. I'm not doing that. Yeah. And this was in 1999, 99, 2000. Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm. One of
I
the
mean, now
first,
now we have cell phones, but back then I didn't have
yeah,
a cell phone.
right. One of the first stalkers I remember having was a guy in my African dance class. I was at Columbia College downtown. Um, he was always looking at people's feet and complimenting your feet and your toenail polish. That was already creepy. But I
His name
noticed,
wasn't DDA, was it? Maurice will know who I'm talking about. Anyway, go ahead.
wow, okay, no,
Okay.
but
Just making
I
sure.
would notice that whenever I went, if you're familiar with Columbia Columbia College. The campus is spread out throughout downtown. So there
Mhm.
you go from the academic building to the arts building to the music building to whatever theater.
Mhm.
You always going somewhere else. And I worked in records, and then I worked
Mhm.
in admissions. And somewhere around that time I was also working at Ashley Stewart. So I don't remember where I was at
Yeah.
that time. But I remember when
Yeah.
I would be leaving the school, sometimes it would be dark already. I'm leaving at night if I had classes at
Mhm.
night, or in the afternoon. It ended in the evening, and I had to walk into the train. You got to go underground. I didn't
Mm.
have to go up. I had to go underground.
Yeah.
And shout out to Chip. Shout out to Berkeley Baker Jr., um, one of my associates. He's in the music world, but he
Mhm.
also was a student at Columbia at the same time, and we would
Okay.
often be leaving the school at the same time, and he started walking me. He
Oh,
would walk.
that's nice.
He would walk me to the corner, or walk me to the train, or walk me. Can I walk? Just walk out with me. And a couple of
Mm.
times he gave me a ride and dropped me
That's
off
nice.
somewhere else. Shout out to Berkeley Baker Jr. He will never know, and I've
Hmm.
said this before over the years, but he'll never know how much that meant to me, um,
Mhm.
because I was not used to stalkers at that time,
Well,
and it was
yeah.
really creepy because he was a student in class. And it can
Mm.
always be, the excuse that he's going the same way, he's getting on the same train.
Mhm.
I didn't care.
Mhm.
I didn't care. He always appeared when I was leaving that building. And because I
Yeah.
worked in the office, I would leave when the office closed. So, we always left at the same time. Um,
Mhm.
Weird. But shout out to Chip. I'll never forget it. But whew, moving on.
Mm.
How do we
Yeah.
stay safe? That was if
Mhm.
you're being followed. What do you do? Go in the
Yeah.
store, knock on somebody's house door. All
Yeah.
right. How do we stay safe while we are driving? Regular maintenance of your car was the first thing on the list. Okay. Because if your car break down, yeah, you say keeping your gas tank at least half full.
Oh, I'm so bad at that.
Uh.
Like
Usually, I'm pretty good with that. Usually.
my
Um,
light will be on for a good like
oh
2
my
days before
God.
I go to the gas station. I'm like,
Now,
I'll look, I'm like, "Oh, I got like 20 more miles. I'm
no,
good."
no, I don't. I don't get
Yeah.
to the light. No, no, no. If the
Yeah.
light come on, I'm already in the gas line, sitting at Sam's, and there's two
Yeah.
cars in front of me. That's
I'm
the
so
only
bad.
time you're gonna see that light come on.
I will
Um,
tell you one time I was so bad, like I was sitting in a Portillo's drive-through. Literally ran out of gas in the Portillo's drive-through and they had to push my car.
I would be so mad if I was behind you. If you don't move so I can get this lemon cake, move.
Listen,
I
I was
stop.
like, "Oh, this is embarrassing." Like I was gonna get gas after I got my
Oh,
food,
but the
but
Portillo's is more important. Okay,
I
well,
was hungry.
bet you won't do that again. All
Nope,
right, park
never.
in well lit areas.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Try
yes.
my best to park under a light.
Under a light.
Try my best. Lock your doors. Some of this is no brainers. Have your keys ready and in your hand. Yes,
Mhm,
they stay on my finger. Check the seats and the floor before getting in.
mhm. I check that
Don't
back
go
seat all
home
the
if you
time.
feel like you're being followed. Don't go home.
Go into a police station.
Go to a police station or a fire station
Mhm,
and honk your horn. Now,
mhm,
I read this and I was thinking to myself, I don't know where all the police stations and fire stations are.
mhm.
Like, I know what's in my neighborhood.
Right.
Um, I might remember one or two somewhere outside, maybe an older neighborhood or somewhere else I would pass by. But if
Mhm,
I was coming home from work, I was trying to remember where's the fire station coming home from work. I can only remember one fire station. So I would
mhm.
add to this list hospital.
Oh, yeah,
They
definitely.
suggested gas station. And I'm thinking, do you know how many people been snatched at a gas station? I'm not
Oh,
going to a gas
gas
station
stations have gotten
with
terrible.
one attendant working.
Yeah,
That don't
no.
sound very helpful.
Mm-mm.
Police station, fire station. I'm gonna add to the list hospital.
Pull up right to that ER entrance and
Pull up
just
right to
blast it.
that ER and
Mhm.
below that horn. Okay. Get
Yep.
the plate number of who was following you. If you get a flat tire, drive on that sucker until you get to well lit area, public
Mhm.
place. Okay. And try not to go to any underground or enclosed parking garages alone. Try not to.
Mm,
I don't like those things, but
yeah.
sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew. So some of the resources outside of the hotline, I'll give it to you again: 800-656-HOPE,
Hope.
800-656-HOPE. Next, the National Sexual Assault, no, the National Sexual Violence Resource Center. NoMore.org. Love this
No
organization.
more.
I follow them on Instagram. The Florida Council Against Sexual Violence. Why am I talking about the Florida Council of Sexual Violence? Because I was fortunate enough some years ago to record with them a public service video for
Oh.
crisis prevention. So there are counselors with Florida Sexual Assault. Uh, yes, that one, that organization.
Mhm.
There are counselors that are watching my video
Oh,
in
nice.
their trainings.
That's
Florida
awesome.
Council Against Sexual Violence. Whew, my
Okay.
goodness.
It's a mouthful.
But there is a I will maybe I'll drop the link to that video somewhere. But
Yeah, you should.
it was pretty lengthy. It was about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 15 to 18 minutes.
Okay.
There were only three of us in this training video, and I had to memorize all of that.
Oof.
So I would love for you to take a look at it. Maybe we'll drop it in the comments on the page or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Other resources: the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative, victimconnect.org, the Joy
Oh.
Heart Foundation.org, and the last one on the list is the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. You would be surprised to see how much information they have on there about preventing sexual violence and resources and support for domestic violence victims and sexual assault victims.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
Oof. That
So
was a lot.
we're gonna bring it back
We're
to
gonna bring it back because
we're
there
gonna
is hope.
bring it
It's on
back.
her shirt.
National Month of Hope. My media list for the National Month of Hope is President Barack Obama's book, The Audacity of Hope.
Okay, so I have that.
You have that? Have you read that?
Okay, it's a big book,
That's a no.
and I don't read. I
Okay.
mean, I read. I sound like I don't read, but reading is not something I love to do. That's my husband. And I've gotten through like the first 100 some pages. And okay, I've had this book for like the last 3 years. Okay, just don't touch. I would much rather, I think, listen to him read it to me.
I was gonna say maybe your audio book would be better for
I
you.
think I'm gonna have to. And he's got such a great voice
He
anyway. I
does.
mean, I love his it calms me.
It's very
Soothing.
soothing. Yes, very
So
soothing.
maybe I'll just do that. But I
Okay.
mean the first as far as I've read so far, it's like, dang.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
there
So
is
The
hope.
Audacity of Hope by
Yeah.
President Barack Obama. He's always gonna be President Barack Obama to me. Um, so we're talking about the National Month of Hope. This is celebrating the power of hope, which is a belief that things will work out,
Mhm.
especially when it seems otherwise. Hope is a concept that is deeply rooted in our culture and society. The National Month of Hope was designated a holiday by the Mothers in Crisis organization.
Oh,
And that
nice.
started as a campaign to encourage the sharing of stories of hope to help families that were ripped apart by addiction. So
Mm.
that is how the National Month of Hope began. Hope comes
Okay.
from the Latin word cupio, which means to desire or to wish well. Uh, and I had to drop my favorite scripture on hope. It was actually the very first scripture I remember reciting in choir rehearsal. We always had to start rehearsal with the scripture, and
Mm.
this was my go-to. Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. That was my go-to scripture. And every now and then his eyebrow would raise, like, you gonna keep giving me that? I'm gonna keep giving you, I'm gonna keep giving you this one. I'm gonna keep giving you with this one. Uh,
Yeah.
Hope reduces feelings of helplessness.
Mhm.
It increases happiness.
Mhm.
It reduces stress, and it improves our quality of life. This is what
Mhm.
hope in action looks like. And I will end with tips on nurturing hope.
Okay.
Positive thinking, which you mentioned in regards to stress.
See the
Positive
good
thinking or
every day.
optimism.
Mhm.
Optimism will be another word for that. Faith or spirituality, and that included prayer, it included meditation, it included affirmations. All of that
Mhm.
was included in that. Practicing forgiveness or gratitude. I would say and
And
not or.
yeah.
Practicing forgiveness and gratitude. The next one, seeking inspiration or being still.
Mm.
Part of being still was self-reflection, it was
Mhm.
self-care, it included going outdoors, spending time in nature.
Mhm.
You can find inspiration everywhere, but being still is the actual practice. And my last tip, helping others, acts of kindness.
Mhm.
I took off the word random. It don't need to be random. Acts of
Mhm.
kindness. When we are kind to others, it comes back to us.
Mhm.
It comes back to us. And when
Yeah.
people are kind to you and you have done nothing to ask for it, you can't buy it. That makes us very hopeful
Mhm.
about the state of our society, our culture, those humans.
Yeah.
Um,
Those humans that stress us out.
gives us a lot of hope.
Yeah.
This beautiful, go back to this right here.
Your
This
high society mug and crown,
my high society mug, and there were crumpets.
crumpet plate,
Um, she sent that
your
in
biscuit
the mail.
plate.
My biscuit plate. There you go. This came in the mail
Okay.
randomly.
That's
I
nice.
got a message from Amazon saying, they tried to deliver a package and I had to go through my phone. I haven't ordered anything. I picked all that up
Yeah.
because I'm always at Amazon Fresh. I picked
Oh,
all
yeah.
that up. I didn't order anything, and she couldn't tell me what it was, who it was from. I'm like, I ain't okay. Maybe you called the wrong person because I didn't order.
Yeah.
3 days later,
Yeah.
this showed up in the mail, and I'm like, what is this ensemble of
Yeah.
awesomeness?
Yeah.
Thank you for being awesome.
Yeah. That's you
Yeah,
are awesome.
just but it was so
Yeah.
random. These are things that make us
Yeah.
hopeful. Makes you hopeful for friends, a friendship.
Yeah.
Hopeful for just everything.
And it doesn't, and also being kind, it doesn't even need to be something that's purchased. It could just be
Doesn't
complimenting
it?
somebody. I was at coffee with Martha last Friday, and this woman was in line, and I absolutely loved her outfit. She was wearing, well, of course it was blue because it's my favorite color, but it was so springy too. It was like this long skirt, like blue and white stripes. She had this blue top on, and I was like, and I just told her, I said, I love your outfit. Like she was looking at like the case of like the desserts and all of that. And she's such like, thank you. Like, just little things like that.
Listen,
It's
always
easy.
pointing
It's
out people's
easy.
toes. Girl, your lips are popping.
Yeah.
Your hair's fly. I love your shoes. What? It
Right.
does not hurt. It
It
does not hurt
doesn't.
to pay somebody a compliment.
It doesn't.
There's
And
so
it's
many
kind.
things, but you know what else? That girl who wrote on my calendar today. Um, it was not an act of kindness. However, I felt like it was very kind of her to let me know in the roundabout aggressive way that she did that she wanted me present.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
Definitely.
wanted me present. She dropped dates on my calendar. She gave me times. I want you to be here. I felt very honored
Yeah.
that she was kind enough to include me in her graduation ceremonies,
Yeah.
in her festivities, because she didn't have to. I'm not
Right.
one of her teachers for the school. We
Right.
um Yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
was very kind of her.
Yeah.
Didn't cost her nothing. It's gonna cost me some
Right.
sleep, but it didn't cost 9 a.m. But that was kindness,
Yeah.
and it's shown in so many ways that don't cost anybody money.
Right.
Anybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want a
Um,
shirt like yours. I love your shirt.
yeah. Like, do my shirt, or are you just
Yes,
saying
like
that?
your shirt. No, I'm
Oh, like
saying
mine? I get you one.
I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe they
Thank
need
you.
another brand ambassador. I don't know. But
Hey, they're
I love
always
the
looking.
message. I love the message though. You
Yeah.
know that. So,
Yeah.
we point out things.
Yeah.
That's kindness as well. Somebody that wants to rock your brand.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
love it, love it.
Which I need to order one of your Love's Great Design books for someone at my church.
But
Um,
oh,
yeah, that which I can find on angelsimmons.com.
this book
Yes, that
right
book right there that I can find
here.
on
Oh, absolutely.
angelsimmons.com.
Absolutely, would
Okay.
definitely be
Yes.
autographed and personalized for
Yes.
whomever receives that.
Well, you'll see that order come through. But well, for those of you who tuned in, thank you. If you're tuning in after, thank you. Hopefully we touched something that spoke to you, to help you cope, whatever. Next month is May, and we all know May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I am happy to say we're going to have a special guest on our show next month. I met with her for coffee. She's never done a podcast before, so she's really
Oh,
excited.
nice.
She's really excited. And it'll be fun to have her on and see her take. She's going to talk more about coping with mental health through a spiritual way,
Yes. Oh, I
so
have
I
a
thought,
shirt for that.
yeah. Oh, well, there you go. You have a shirt for everything.
Shirt for that.
So anyway, tune in next month. It will be that Thursday, the last Thursday in May, before you head off for Memorial Day weekend. Make
Listen,
sure you tune
I
in
hope I'm
and
headed somewhere.
join us.
I hope,
I hope so too. I hope, but
hope,
not hope not alone.
but I hope.
But anyways, but
Anyway,
thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see you in May. And
see you
y'all
in
have
May.
a good night.
It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.